The boys needed that victory over the 76ers last night, and I understand the 76ers didn't have Joel Embiid or Paul George, but for the Pistons to get that victory and not start 0-5 is huge. This Detroit Pistons team just needs to learn how to close out games and win games, and that's one step in the right direction was last night. The first 4 games of the season were against former playoff teams, so I'm not going to make excuses for this Detroit Pistons team, but they just weren't closing out games. The first game against Indiana, they had the lead going into the fourth quarter. It's a tight basketball game, but we seemed to fall apart in the fourth quarter. That's what happened in that first game. In the second game against Cleveland, we got banged up a little bit. That wasn't really a close basketball game. Cleveland kind of ran away with that game. And then against the Celtics Saturday, we're leading the world champions with 6 points with 4 minutes left in the game. We just didn't close the game out. And that's something this team just needs to learn how to do because they're right in these basketball ball games and they just need to learn how to close teams out and they need to not turn the ball over. And then who they play? And then Miami. That's another game where they just kind of fell apart in the fourth quarter again. They shot 20% in the fourth quarter. Cade and Ivy were turning the ball over all over the place. And then last night, like I said, Joel Embiid and Paul George weren't playing, but they didn't let the 76ers seize on that opportunity. The 76ers were leading us early in the basketball game, and once the Pistons took that lead, they didn't turn around and they didn't look back, and that's what was huge for this Pistons team. It kind of closed out in the fourth quarter last night, and hopefully this helps this team learn how to close out games in the fourth quarter. The Achilles heel for this Detroit Pistons team, the first 4 games of the season, is the fourth quarter shooting woes, and Cade and Ivy just turning the ball over ridiculous amounts. Jaden Ivey needs to slow down sometimes. He's been playing really solid basketball, but there's times where it's like, whoa, slow it down a little bit because you're getting a little out of hand. That's something he needs to mature a little bit in. Because when he's flying around, the ball's a little out of control. They're poking at it. He dumps it into the center to Isaiah Stewart, and it's a low pass, and they're banging around, and it's a turnover going the other way. And a lot of these teams are former playoff teams, so they're hopping on the Detroit Pistons in transition, and they're scoring off these turnovers. Good teams are going to capitalize off your turnovers. So if Cade and Ivy learn to slow it down like they did a little bit last night, that will be perfect. They only had 1 turnover in the second quarter last night, and in the third quarter they started going back to their old ways, but then they got under control in the fourth quarter. They just needed to play more relaxed and more controlled basketball, and I think they'll be really good. But other than that, Cade and Ivy have been playing really solid. Cade's been playing like an all-star. You've finally given Ivy an opportunity, unlike Monty Williams. J.B. Bickerstaff has been playing really good, and he's been playing solid, but my frustration with him is just slowing it down. Jalen Duren, he needs to step it up a little bit, stop getting in foul trouble. I think he's kind of regressed last season and going into this season, but hey, he's still young and he's learning. He'll get better. Isaiah Stewart, he's been solid off the bench. Tim Hardaway Jr. and Wesley Matthews, Tim Hardaway Jr., and God, I can't think of his name. Malik Beasley. I get Wesley Matthews and Malik Beasley mixed up all the time. My fault. But Malik Beasley and Tim Hardaway Jr. have been really solid signings. They've been really reliable beyond the three-point line. And something that's been very frustrating to me throughout the first couple games of the season, which he is going to start figuring out, is Tobias Harris. I haven't seen him hit 1-3, and we've been dumping it out to him on the wing. And there's been huge shots that he's missing. We're paying you that money to hit those shots. I need you to start hitting those shots. But sooner rather than later, I'm going to be expecting this Detroit Pistons to start hitting those shots. And this the same with Simone Fontecchio. But other than that, I think the Pistons have been playing pretty solid basketball other than the fourth quarter and turning the ball over. If we can figure out how to close out in the fourth quarter, slow her down, and not turn the ball over in the fourth quarter, these losses that the Detroit Pistons are losing to these top teams in the East are going to start turning to wins. And when we start getting teams like Charlotte, when we start getting teams like Toronto, when we start getting teams like Washington, when we start getting to play these teams and we're not in a tough stretch of the schedule, watch out for this Detroit Pistons team because they are capable of rattling off 3 in a row. I've been watching this team throughout the first week of the season. They have not been playing terrible basketball. They just need to learn how to close out games. And I like the rotation. I think Ron Howard's been playing really solid off the basketball. He hits another player that he gets a little carried away, but he's a rookie. He's going to learn that you can't just drive in. He's getting more confident in his shot. I think Cade's very improved behind the three-point line. Same with Ivy, Tobias Harris, Timmy Hardaway Jr. I like the rotation. I like the way this team's playing. They do play very hard. Like I said, they just got to learn how to close out games in the fourth quarter and not turn the ball over. If they can do that, this team is going to be a team to mess with in the play-in tournament and possibly making the playoffs. That's just my honest opinion, because this schedule is going to get a little bit easier coming up. We started off against Indiana, who made the Eastern Conference Finals, the Cavs, who made the second round, the Celtics, who won the championship last year, and the Heat, who were a playoff team last year. And then we beat the 76ers, who were banged up. But I'll take that win. We're 1-4, way better than 0-5. And we got the Knicks on Friday, what's going to be a tough game, and Brooklyn on Sunday. We got to split one of those games. We got to get one of those games. We got to win, get 5 wins before we hit 10 losses, and that'll be success in my eyes to the start of the season. Let me know what you guys think about the start of the season down below in the comment section. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Please, I really appreciate you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.